basketball coach at the University of North Carolina.
Bill Guthridge, after 30 years as an assistant to the legendary Dean Smith, has taken over the leadership role of the North Carolina Tar Heels and has them ranked #1 in the country. The Florida State Seminoles have soared into the top 20, and the Noles are taking aim at the nation's #1 team, North Carolina, today on CBS. There's the pass to Leitner. We're going to overtime. Simon says championship. 1 week ago, we saw #1 ranked Duke derailed by the Michigan Wolverines. It enabled North Carolina to take over the top spot in college basketball. But a tough assignment today as they open league play against 17th ranked Florida State in Tallahassee. The first-year coaches, Billy Guthridge, a perfect 11-0 so far, and the well-respected Steve Robinson in his first year after coming over from Tulsa. Welcome, everyone, and happy holidays. Jim Nance with you. Florida State in its school history has never beaten a #1 ranked team. They've had 4 occasions to try to achieve that. 0-4. The highest-ranked team they ever defeated was North Carolina back in the national semifinals in 1972. #1 for the first time ever. We'll find out next. Is the assistant to Dean Smith. Carter, Okalaja, and Jamison in the front court, all juniors. Backcourt, senior Shammond Williams and Ed Cota, the sophomore point guard who led the conference a year ago in assists. Steve Robinson took Tulsa to the NCAA tournament the last 2 years. Hired here July the 1st. And his lineup has Lamar Greer in the front court. He was for 2 years the point guard here for the Seminoles. Corey Lewis, who always plays well against them, against North Carolina. Also Jackson in the front court. Thompson and Baker, the starting backcourt for Florida State. Hartzell, Gordon, and Rote will officiate this game. North Carolina won big last year at home, but Florida State won by 11 on this court. And the tip slapped out of bounds. It belongs to FSU. And Carolina leads by an overwhelming margin, but again, the Seminoles have taken 2 of the last 3.
Great individual matchups. Both of these teams really match each other well. Baker has a little bit of size on Williams. Other than that, everybody just about balances out perfectly.
Jackson with the 3.
Shot for Florida State. Jackson has had trouble on his perimeter shooting of late.
Randall Jackson, 6'11" junior, knocking down a 3 to get the game started.
Both teams, because of the matchup, go right after each other man to man.
Carter stopped, finds Cota down low, and a foul on the arm. He'll shoot 2.
Great judgment by Cota on the inside. He realized he's up against some shot blockers, so he stayed on the ground.
Ed Cota had his first double-double game of his career against Florida State last February. 14 points, 10 assists. They beat the Seminoles by 28 at Chapel Hill.
He was 22 to 25 from the line up to that shot, Jim. Great to have a ball handler that's a great free throw shooter. Misses a pair.
Lewis, too strong. Battle, tie up, arrows to Carolina.
Corey Lewis did not have that ball set in his hands. He had the incredible game as a freshman, really set the mark for him as one of the top freshmen in the country with 26 against Carolina.
That's when he was matched up against Rasheed Wallace. Jamison, too strong, but Cota with the board. Ron Williams,
illegal methodical dribble, and he got by with it.
And picking up the loose ball was Carter for the lay-in.
Williams let that ball sit right on his palm and then took off with it. Something that is supposed to be a point of emphasis this year by the referees to not allow. With the exception of Baker, Jim, everybody should be very familiar with each other out here. They've all played against each other multiple times.
Florida State, with the 8-1 record, its best W was against UConn in the NIT semifinals, and put up a pretty feisty effort against Kansas in the championship game, but let it slip away in the last 4 minutes. Got outplayed down the stretch.
They were in pretty good shape in that basketball game, and Kansas, of course, with their tremendous experience in big basketball games, able to pull that one out. Sometimes you have to learn how to win those kind of basketball games. I'd say North Carolina has that one big advantage here over Florida State in regard to these players.
Freshman 35. They don't use much of it. Thompson misses on the three. Carolina ball.
Off Jackson's hands. One of the things that does hurt Florida State a little bit today, Jim, is the fact that the student body is not here at school. So unlike Michigan last week, which I thought they had a great crowd, there's that incredible leaping ability of Carter. He's so quick.
Carter with two inside hoops. Carolina with the 4-3 lead. Corey Lewis, jump and goes.
Isn't it amazing how some guys like to play well against certain teams? Lewis has enjoyed his matchups with North Carolina throughout his career.
Nice little soft hook by Jamison, their leading scorer and rebounder, averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds a game. Preseason first-team All-American. Baker, leading scorer for Florida State, answers with a three at the other end.
Baker's got about 3 inches on Williams and can shoot over him better than Williams can on the other end of the floor.
Shamon Williams, a three Ranos out, ball tipped out, last touch by the heel. Vince Carter put on a dunking show in the first half against Arizona at the Final Four last year.
Greer just got himself in a position, Jim, where he fell asleep and didn't have good defensive spots. Carter took advantage. Here's a zone for the first time by North Carolina. Something I think we'll see a lot of today until Florida State shows that they can hit from the outside. And they're aware of Baker.
Jackson. That's some touch for a player 6'11". Coda. Florida State will come out running with a 10-6 lead. Thompson on the drive. Follow up by Jackson. Slips away, and North Carolina wants to run.
Good offensive rebounding. Jackson just couldn't keep the handle. You notice how they're going to make Williams put the ball on the floor, Jim. Not going to give him many looks with his standstill jumper.
Underneath. Shamon Williams with a very unselfish play. Gave it up to Coda.
But a big foul here. That's Thompson's second.
Also number 12, Kerry Thompson, his second.
Now the tradition kept alive here by Billy Guthridge, but a program that has second all-time number of wins to Kentucky, second and Final Four appearances, tied for second in NCAA tournament wins, third in appearances, 3 overall national titles, 57, 82, and 1993.
Jim, how about what we're about to see here? Florida State going with 4 subs. A deeper team in North Carolina. Looks like they're going to want to try to take advantage of it early on.
In that group, it includes a player listed at 7'2", a freshman, Kareem Shabazz, number 3. Also number 22, Devonair Dees. Number 51, Oliver Simmons has come in. And number 21, the best 6-man, Ron Hale.
And we have a timeout.
Have the under 16 timeout. Florida State with the Penn State campus here in downtown Tallahassee. The first time Florida State ever played a top-ranked team was back in the national championship game of 1972. Most recently, 92 against Duke. They're 0-4 against the number 1. They did again beat a 2 in the national semifinals back in 72. And that was North Carolina.
University of North Carolina. That was the team coached by Hugh Durham. They had Reggie Royals and Lawrence McRae, Otto Petty, Ron King. They ended up that year 27-6, but they couldn't beat Bill Walton and John Wooden.
Beat a loaded Carolina team, though.
Yes, they did.
Included Bob McAdoo. D's goaltending on Maktar Jai.
Bad judgment by Jai on the play, without question. As soon as he touched the ball, it had to be goaltending. You're better off getting in defensive rebounding position than making a play like that and just giving up an easy 2.
Jamison.
Isn't it amazing how quick he is? Get that shot off inside. Such a soft shot.
North Carolina that soft touch twice now.
Oh, yeah. Since his high school days. First time I ever saw Jamison play, I was sitting in Winston-Salem, North Carolina AAU tournament with Phil Ford. I think Jamison was just a rising junior in high school, and Phil said someday he will play for North Carolina. He sure spotted talent early, didn't he?
Great talent. Last exchange, 12-10 Florida State.
A low post with 2 transfer players down there, Simmons and Jai. Simmons came over from Kentucky. Jai, Wake Forest, Michigan, and now North Carolina.
Carter gives him the lead with that 3-pointer, 13-12.
Extra juice by Carter today, of course, the Florida Player of the Year, high school Player of the Year before going to North Carolina.
Shabazz wildly putting up the shot in the lane, and that belongs to North Carolina. They make a sub, too, to the Tar Heels. They bring in Brendan Haywood, 7-foot freshman from Greensboro.
I like this move by Bill Guthridge. He's going to play freshman against freshman, figuring he can use a couple of minutes here. Haywood much heavier than Shabazz, not as quick up and down the floor.
Shabazz actually manning up on Jamison, though. Simmons on Haywood. There's Jamison taking Shabazz to the basket.
And he just moved him out of the way with his left hand.
Foul on Haywood underneath.
It's kind of interesting, Jim. You have 2 different contrasts there. Shabazz has gained 20 pounds since he arrived on campus here, and it all is muscle. No body fat involved at all. In Hayward's case, he's probably wanting to drop maybe 15 pounds.
So 3 of the subs that had relieved the starters go back to the bench for Florida State. They have their starters, except for Oliver Simmons on the floor, transferred from Kentucky. Just his 3rd game in an FSU uniform.
Good ball. Nobody coming.
Elijah comes out of the pack with it. 2 on
Nice.
Carter to Coda.
How about that, Jim? The bounce pass with 2 hands, the only clean play to make, and Carter does it.
17-12, North Carolina, a 9-0 run.
Double team out here. Carolina going to the half-court trap for the first time.
Thompson gives it up and almost stolen by Carter. Simmons. Carter bounces it off the leg of Simmons.
Great hustle by Carter on the inside. Here's the bounce pass I'm talking about. Sat right down, 2-handed bounce pass. Perfect play. We saw Florida with an opportunity to beat Florida State the other day. Unwise move behind the back. Try to make a difficult play instead of making the easy, solid play. May have cost Florida the ballgame.
Randall Jackson is back in, and Florida State has his starting 5 back on the floor.
Surprised Ed Cota doesn't try to take Thompson with the dribble. Thompson's got those 2 fouls.
Fadeaway, Williams.
Well, we know that Baker is the leading scorer for Florida State, but Jim, so far, he's showing me that he can guard somebody as well. Outstanding junior college player, doing a fine job on Williams. He's got about 2 inches on him in height, and he's really shut him out so far.
Last foul goes to Haywood of North Carolina. Florida State's been scoreless now for almost 3 minutes.
I haven't looked inside. Here's a chance right here. Jackson posting up inside on Jamison.
Greer off the pick, gets the three. Perfect. Lamar Greer, 4-year starter, first 2 years of point guard. Jamison out to Okalaja. His confidence is shot from the field, and he passes up a short one. Haywood traveled.
Like the move, though. There's some good foot quickness with that move. Bill Guthridge had talked to the referees a little bit on that play. I'm sure he liked what Haywood did.
Jai comes in for Haywood. 17-15 North Carolina. Carolina's only turned it over one time. First 7.5 minutes.
Good back screen for Baker inside. Nobody looked to hit him. Florida State team last year took on a new identity when Thompson moved to that point spot.
Over the back. Randell Jackson.
All-American high school player. Florida State's got 3, Jim, on this basketball team. North Carolina with 4. So they're very blessed with quality talent. Got to finish. Good job by Lewis. Number 2 shot blocker at Florida State.
Greer, another 3. Williams. Great Delaja with the rebound.
He's not getting the looks today that he normally has. Baker doing a nice job on it. Cota should drive on Thompson, Jim. He's got 2 fouls on him. Got to try to pick up the 3rd here in the first half.
Castillo. But right back to Heels with the set.
Smart play by Jai. Very experienced team on the floor, Jim, for North Carolina right now. Making very good judgments out there.
Underneath, Cota tips it up and in.
Thompson got caught on the back pick. Cota moving well without the ball. You don't see that often for a point guard that's a major handler. Led the ACC in assists last year, and here he is moving well without the ball.
Yeah, 6 points for Cota. Jackson. Baker on the foul. Those are the first 2 points in the paint for the Seminoles.
And there's the versatility of Baker. As I said, he's got a good size for the position he plays. Got up on the offensive glass.
Jai. Pass was a little too strong.
Great job by Jackson with his defensive footwork. Throw Jai right out of bounds.
Well, we're halfway through the opening half. Carolina by a bucket.
We all know how much help Buddy.
Nashville is one of 14 undefeated teams right now in Division 1A basketball. Houston lost last night for the first time this season. Santa Clara beat them.
Jim, Billy Tubbs, how about that? Good coaches show up everywhere. Excellent job there. Tennessee undefeated in the men's, and also Pat Ed Summit once again has her women undefeated. She's got back-to-back, and does she have back-to-back-to-back national championships? You talk about a great coach. How about Pat Ed Summit? And speaking of women's basketball, how about Jody Conrad winning her 700th game down at the University of Texas?
Congratulations to
Two
Coach Conrad.
great coaches. Zone defense by North Carolina. Even though they've done a good job in their man-to-man stopping the inside. Look at Cota pushing ahead.
Gives it up to Williams for the dunk. That's the easiest way to take it to the hole with 6'11" Jackson defending.
Nice piece of refereeing there, too, to allow Williams to hang slightly on that rim with a lot of bodies running under it. They stay in the zone after they score.
North Carolina with 11 points off turnovers, while Florida State hasn't scored off a turnover because the Tar Heels have only turned it over one time. Failed to convert.
Where's the jump shot coming from? Baker'd like to have one. Hale, probably not the answer.
What a move, but they call him for the charge.
He wanted to pass, Jim. See Cota push that ball ahead, then a beautiful bounce pass. And here you can see there were bodies underneath Williams. He wasn't trying to act right there, and as soon as he realized they were gone, set himself down. Ed Cota. Terrific assist-turnover ratio. Was the first freshman since Kenny Anderson to lead the league in assists last year.
And missed by only one assist, tying the Carolina single-season mark held by Kenny Smith.
Went to that Final Four, Jim, only leading 5 and ended up with 4, so he came up one shy, as you said.
Another turnover. Tar Heels lead by 4. 6.
There's a frustration block by Lewis. Just as we saw Jive make a bad decision trying to block one earlier in the ball game. Lewis is frustrated here that Carter was so wide open and just gave it away.
Carter is 4 of 4 from the field with 9 points. Number 3, too strong.
I would look for Brower to come into this ball game for Florida State. They need to find somebody against this particular defense to shoot from the outside. And although the young man's had some knee problems, it's not 100%. They need to find somebody to strip it out there.
Greer comes in for Hale. In the Florida State lineup. Good hands, Jamison. Again, the soft touch.
Edwards shoots the ball so often on the way up. That's why he's so tough to defend. He's got it out of his hand before you realize the release is coming.
Again in traffic. Carolina comes out with a Shamon Williams, though, on the line. He was led too much.
Jim, you see a lot of turnovers in basketball when guys commit and go into the air with the dribble and off the dribble instead of staying on the floor to make the play.
Timeout on the floor. With its largest lead, shutting out the Seminoles the last 3 minutes. Carolina shooting 58% from the field. You look at their season percentage.
53-7,
yeah,
Jim.
almost 54%.
And Jim, the thing that's interesting about that is Florida State coming into this game, we're holding opponents down to 35%. So obviously something had to give, and for Carolina faithful, it's the fact that they've been able to score and score primarily off the turnovers to get that percentage way on up there. Carolina stays in the 2-3 zone. Look for the ball to pump inside, reverse it over to Baker, and let him get a jump shot.
Greer up and over Jamison.
Hard to believe that Greer started out as a point guard here, and now he's playing as a swing man. Much better suited for that position.
Lob underneath.
Set play, back screen for Carter. Almost won a game.
11 for Carter.
Good feed by Baker. Nice help by Carter.
Shot blocked, but Cota got a piece of him. You do see this, it seems like, once a game with the Heels.
Well, you really do. And, of course, you've got to have a lot of things. Great passing, great catch, a guy that's got the courage to go in there above everybody and make it. And then here you're going to see how is it that Carter is able to do that. He merely rolled, no back screen at all on that one, just rolled away. Not much Greer could do for it.
And Greer, the senior, the former New Jersey Player of the Year, will shoot one more.
Shabazz back into the ball game. A very much inexperienced front line now out there for Florida State as we go down the wire here, Jim. A little over 6 minutes to go in this half. Look for Jamison to touch this ball.
Greer hits the first 2 free throws attempted of this game by Florida State.
1-2-1-1 full court press. North Carolina's experienced team matches up in a hurry.
Shabazz back in there for Florida State, clears.
Florida State has taken Williams out of shooting sequence. You notice he doesn't get many shots, and therefore he hasn't gotten loose yet.
Carter underneath. Called on the foul. Defending Simmons. Coming up next, Texas against Illinois on CBS. And next week, Billy, we've got a triple header. North Carolina, Georgia. That'll be the Tar Heels' next game. Late in the day, Louisville, Kentucky. Also Providence, Purdue in the middle portion of that triple dip. That was the second foul, by the way, on Carter, that last whistle.
Shabazz open. Nobody getting him the ball down low, so he steps outside. Young man's pretty gifted. Good step out by Okalaji.
Good steal by Carter. Snaps it to Williams, bounces it to Dakota for the lay-in. Carolina's back ahead by 8.
This year, Williams came into this game with 58 assists, only 27 turnovers. So basically, they've got two guys playing great point play for North Carolina.
Greer with a 3. Lamar Greer. The last 10 trims the lead to 5. Jamison again on the way up. Right over Simmons.
That's that experience against inexperience, Jim. Jamison, you knew they're going to get that ball down to him low. Simmons will take a while. He's going to be a strong kid, but not ready to play Jamison in the low post.
Okalaji steals it. Jamison outside, comes up shy.
Probably not a good shot to take. Florida State had the advantage on the boards.
Thompson cleared the way for him. Penetrates for the bucket.
That's what a bad shot does for you. All bad things happen when you take a bad shot. The other team gets the rebound, and they have the numbers going the other way. Simmons in trouble, Jim.
It's 2 times he's been beaten in the last 3 trips.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to handle Jamison.
4:30 to go, first half, 33-26, North Carolina.
Screening inside, and Shabazz is open, but they don't hit him when he's open. He's not strong enough to hold that position. So they need to hit him when he first gets daylight.
Thompson, left 3 at the line. Shabazz up with it, and he'll shoot wide.
This young man's quick. He's not 7'2" as listed. We checked him out. He's 6'11 and a half. You can see he has talent. Nice hands. He runs the floor well. I think Thompson was so surprised to be so wide open. Excellent putback.
2 subs in for the first time for Florida State. They make another move here. They bring Ron Hale back, so it gives them 8 points a game off the bench. They brought in Brower. You called for him earlier, Billy. Number 41, Jeff Brower. There's Shabazz.
Well, Brower's got a lot of experience. Made that great pass against Florida. Set up the win. There's the press again, but look at Cota see ahead.
Booker for Carolina seeing his first play. Cota shoots the 3.
Oh, how about that? Cota not a real strong perimeter shooter, but he got a beautiful soft touch on that one.
Jackson, a little careless, picked up by Devonair Dees. And a whistle, 3-second violation on Shabazz. The under 4-minute timeout. North Carolina has outscored Florida State 24-6 in the paint. Leads by 7.
Not trapping, but look at how low to the ground Ed Cota is. And here's the great escape. It breaks down everything in regard to this zone press, because when he escapes, he pushes through the zone press, hits ahead, and North Carolina in perfect position to score. Cota does it by following up. We talked about that touch. Look at that ball die in that rim, Jim, and just hanging there for Ed Cota. But what made the play is that he escaped the double team in the corner.
North Carolina beating its opponents by an average of, well, 22 points a game. This is the 5th-ranked team they played this year, having defeated UCLA, Purdue, Louisville, and Princeton handing UCLA in that game the second worst loss in school history.
Jim, Florida State goes for the first time zone of their own. They try to lob over the top of the back to Njai.
Jackson defended that.
Zone really packed inside. Where's the jump shot? Williams would like to take it.
5 on the shot clock.
Too late.
Okalaja has to take it.
Not a good job by North Carolina. They should have been looking for Williams.
Devonair Dees with a pull-up shot.
Shot that over his former teammate, Cota. Played with each other in high school.
.240 to go in the half. Carolina leading by 7. Jamison.
You know what was amazing? Dees was playing one defense, and the 4 other teammates were playing another that time, and it was effective.
Hale, too strong on the drive.
How about that judgment by Jamison not to block the shot, realizing it'd be a goaltend, stayed right there. Notice they showed the zone one time. Dees that time, however, thought they were still in the zone.
On the baseline, that one bounces out, but Jamison will shoot 2. Now you can get all your college hoops action at cbs.sportsline.com. You'll find the latest scores, schedules, and standings, plus sortable statistics for every Division I team. You can chat with other fans, enjoy exclusive columns, and you can vote in the college basketball top 25 fan poll. Get in on the action. CBS Sportsline on America Online.
Jim, Jamison missed the first game this year with an elbow injury. Last year, we all know, not only first team all-conference, second team all-American. Finished second behind Tim Duncan in scoring and rebounding in the league. There's certainly nothing you have to be embarrassed about there. Duncan off to a sensational start as a rookie in the NBA. Led the league in scoring and rebounding.
Jamison with 16 points. First team preseason All-America with 2 players from Kansas, Pierce and LaFrance, 2 from Arizona, Simon and Bibby.
Jai banging down there with Lewis.
Florida State with its biggest deficit, 11 down. Jackson jam, but finds Greer in the lane. Cota on the blitz with the left hand, scores 2 more.
Remember last year in the Final Four, Cota and Bibby, 2 young players that really see the court well when they're dribbling the ball. Their heads are up, their eyes are seeing the whole floor ahead of them. Terrific job.
Jackson with the fadeaway. Minute 20 to go in the half. 42-33 North Carolina.
Cota, a smart player, pulls it back out, wants to take a look at the defense, sees it in the zone, thinking about Williams cross court.
Lob again, and Jai can't convert it.
Jai looks down at the bandage on his hand. Not the same thrown it to Carter.
Thompson. 50 seconds to go.
Phil Ford shaking his head over there saying Cota couldn't put the ball in any better spot. Jai's got to finish it. You're Florida State, you got to be aware of Williams now. He's going to try to find a hole for his 3-point shot.
Jamison. Rebound cleared by Jai, then tipped up and in for Okalaja's first 2 points.
No block out on Okalaja. Jai can't believe nothing going in for him.
See how they operate these final 5 seconds. Hale, they're in a jam here. Thompson, long range 3, got it.
Beautiful rotation on that jumper. About 3 feet back from the 3-point line. Terrific jump shot.
Well, Florida State was down 11. With that 3 at the buzzer, they're now only down 6. That's the end of the first half with the score North Carolina 44, Florida State 38. Michelle Tafoya will be along with Pennzoil at the half right after this message and a word from your local station. It lost to Florida State in Florida State's league debut. An open conference play with a win at Chapel Hill.
And Florida State that year won both regular season games against North Carolina, only to be beaten then in the ACC tournament. Good screen. Baker's got to be ready to shoot on that play. Jackson gets the roll. Well, points in the paint. Steve Robinson doing a good job saying this is an area of weakness in the first half. Let's go to it quickly.
Within 4. At one time down 11. And a steal by Lewis. Carter reached in, committed his third.
Carter probably was another step, Jim, away from being able to make a clean steal. He reached in just a little bit too early. That's a big foul. North Carolina not anywhere near as deep as Florida State. And it forced them to go maybe a little zone early, or are they going to stay man? Man to man. Good back screen.
Lewis, who only had 2 in the first half, gets the roll. That ball almost was touched on the rim by Jackson.
That's an excellent back screen that set that up for Lewis.
44-42 Tar Heels.
How big was that three-pointer at the end of the half, Jim?
Johnson hit a jumper before that, too. A little late run before the half got him from 11 down to 6 at the intermission.
There we see Lewis impersonating Jamison with that little half hook. Nice touch. Ball was not touched by Jackson, so it counted. Even though these shooting percentages are high, I like the tough man-to-man defense that both teams are capable of playing. Got to be careful about pick up another cheap foul here.
Tough pass, but Jamison was there.
How about those hands?
Soft as they get in college basketball.
We saw a tractor trailer last week with those great hands on the inside for Michigan. Jamison, just like him, doesn't have that ball, but knows how to catch and put it up.
Jamison with 18 now, scoring the first Carolina points of the second half.
Screening foul.
Foul is number 52, Corey Lewis, is the first.
Called on Corey Lewis, his first.
You know, it's kind of interesting to see Roy Williams gets his foundation with Bill Guthridge and Dean Smith at North Carolina. He moves to Kansas. One of his first hires. Steve Robinson comes to Kansas, picks up the North Carolina tradition, goes to Tulsa, now he's down here. So don't think that there aren't a lot of principles that both of these clubs are using, all emanating from Dean Smith.
Shamon Williams hits the floor as he hits the 3.
Eastern Regional MVP last year, MVP of the ACC tournament, great pure shooter.
Lob pass. Jackson over Jai.
Would have counted.
And Jai called for the push-off. At the conclusion of this game, we'll select a Chevrolet MVP of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed $6.5 million to campuses across the country. Jackson will shoot 2. That last foul was on Maktar Jai. Billy, seems like he's been around a long time.
Well, he has. Went to school with Jerry Stackhouse and Jeff McGinnis in high school. Then was recruited by Wake Forest. Can't get eligible there. Transfers to Michigan, plays with part of the Fab Five at Michigan, transfers back to North Carolina, and now he's playing. Jim, you made a good point before the game. I think Maktar has played with almost every great college player in the country the last 5 years.
Scrimmage to practice with Tim Duncan, played with Jalen Rose and Juwan Howard, then practice with
Stackhouse and
Wallace, and now with Antoine Jamison and the likes. Carter foul outside.
You know what's interesting, talking about Jai, when he was recruited by Dave Odom at Wake Forest, it was a big recruit. I mean, he looked like he was going to be a major factor in the ACC. There was a guy that really wasn't a major factor when he was recruited by the name of Tim Duncan. He was kind of like an afterthought when he came into the league as a freshman. I guess only 17 years of age at the time, but obviously his progress was rather rapid. Now, can Florida State start bringing the defense to the point where they get North Carolina under 50%?
Underneath Carter.
So strong. Now, Hale was in a position to block that shot, as was Jackson, but Carter so strong to the hoop.
Foul on Jai underneath, pushing off.
You see that lob to Carter. He's got the hands, realizes what's behind him, and there he was, just powering that ball right through Hale.
Jackson.
Second jumper he's made today. When he gets confidence in that, his game is going to soar.
Talked about Tim Duncan. He had a game last year matched up against Duncan. He had 16 points, 12 rebounds.
Double teaming by Florida State.
Williams with the 2. He had a foot on the line.
There's a case where Greer has got to play him for the jump shot. Let him penetrate. Back screen, they look for the lob for Lewis, not there.
Jackson again. Get a second try. No, Lewis.
That's as good a twosome as there is in college basketball, Jim, in regard to athletic ability, experience, and skill. Jackson and Lewis.
Jamison tried to just like tip it in off the pass. The one thing they lack is just a little more muscle and bulk inside. With those two.
Well, Lewis is a strong kid. I think that although Jackson is slim, I think he's got some strength there. No body fat on him.
Greer.
Oh, why the tap out? Jai does some things, Jim, from a thinking standpoint that you have to question.
Well, we've got the under 16 timeout. 5-point lead. Foul. Who made the... What an exciting finish. Earlier, Florida State and Florida. You know the intensity of that rivalry. Right at the end of the game, Brower with the inbound pass, Billy, to Jackson, and he would hit the winner.
Beautifully executed, a form of the old ladder play. Brower recognizing that the defense was taking the first pass option, so he threw it right over the top of the defense to Jackson, who kept working. Very well executed play. Jackson hit 2 key free throws that led up to that point that gave Florida State to be in a position to win that one.
53-48. North Carolina ranked number 1. Florida State number 17.
North Carolina staying in the zone now. Hale, a decent shooter. 16 seconds, still plenty of time.
Thompson gave it up. Simmons. Now with his 10 on the shot clock. Thompson will take it this time. He's having a nice game.
Nice smart play by Greer, too. Give it up to a man that's got a little better shot.
9 points for Thompson. They're within 3.
Carter's been awful quiet here in the second half, in regard to number of touches. He's got to be a little bit more involved in this offense.
Coda.
He's hit. Jim, one of the things over there, you see Bill Guthridge standing up on that sideline. He's the first coach ever in ACC history in his first year to have a team number 1. When you look over the history of the NCAA, there's only been 6 coaches in their first year to have a team number 1. And that Kansas connection jumps out at you again, because Dick Hart back in 1957 with Wilt Chamberlain on that team that eventually lost to North Carolina for the national championship, had his team in his first season 6 weeks in the #1 position. That's the most ever of any first-year coach.
He was the first to achieve that, too.
You know, some of them on that list that are kind of interesting. Gary Thompson, you know, he broadcasts now, a great player himself. Hank Raymond, who followed Al McGuire. That's the year after Al McGuire stepped aside in '77. Bill Hodges, who stepped in at Indiana State as an interim coach and led that team to an undefeated season until the final game against Magic Johnson and Michigan State. It's a very interesting list.
That's the 3rd foul on Jai.
Wonder if we'll see Hayward back in the ball game a little bit, Jim, just to spell some minutes for Jai. Because this is a very inexperienced bench that North Carolina has. You don't want to have them in the game at the end.
Not this time.
Nice pass.
Carter chases it down.
Good pass.
Oh, somehow the great hands that time disappeared.
Jamison looked at the rim, Jim, to see how far away he was to kind of pace himself and didn't make the catch first. So even the great ones sometimes mess up. Beautiful pass by Carter.
14 minutes remaining. They can cut into that 4-point Carolina lead here.
Greer's coming off those screens nicely.
On the shot clock. Greer with Carter on him. We'll shoot it over, Carter.
There's Jai again, knocking the ball out of bounds instead of catching it. Carter very frustrated with him.
More basketball coming your way today on CBS. Texas and Illinois after this one.
Jai talking to the referee, but just a matter of judgment on his part to go ahead now. Carter is being taken out of the game by Bill Guthridge, I think, because he was demonstrative and upset with Jai. Jai also comes out. Hayward does come in there. There's Greer again. I said he coming off those screens nicely.
Makes it home. We've got a 2-point game here. 54-52 Heels.
Greer has been setting up the angle, coming off screens to get that jump shot. It paid off.
We saw the crowd last week at Michigan play such a big part of that victory over #1 as Shamon Williams quiets everyone for a moment.
Good change by Williams to get that jump shot off. But you know, Florida State, Jim, they look like they've got confidence in their eyes, don't they? I mean, even though they've had to battle back and can't get the lead easily, they seem to be more confident right down in North Carolina.
Reach in on Greer. Well, Florida State looks as though it knows it's going to be there at the end of the game.
But we watched it. There you see Greer, even though he didn't call bank on this, what created it was the movement without the ball. See how wide open he is because he came off that screen hard.
Devonair Dees, just his 2nd game eligible this season. Came here a year ago, was expected to be the starting point guard, open with 3 starts, and hasn't ever started again. Played with Ed Cota. Well, as you mentioned, they were the New England Cup champs. St. Thomas More Academy up in Connecticut.
Yeah, I imagine nights they played together in the empty gym. They didn't imagine playing against each other, #1, #17, and national televised game.
ACC game. Cota and his old teammate hacked him on the arm. Devonair Dees.
Now there's a case where you've got to make Cota prove that he can hit the wide open jump shot. He was standing out there about 18 feet. Instead of reaching at him, you know he wants to drive as opposed to shoot. Make him put it up.
Cota had 13 points in the first half. He has not scored but 1 here in the second.
People feeling that he was passing as opposed to getting ready to shoot. And he came in to this ball game 22 of 25 of the line so far today. He's missed 3 shots, as many as he missed all year coming into the game.
Jai comes back in after a brief word with the head coach.
Misses 4. That's more than he missed the whole year.
56-52 Tar Heels. Good look. Hale 3. Jamison with the position, but he lost control while slipping, and he's fouled.
Now, one of the things yesterday that I noticed in the Florida State practice was there was great intensity. There was a lot of competition. This is a deep basketball team. They've got about 9 or 10 guys, all that you can see playing major roles on this club. They really went after each other hard the day before a game. And it's starting to pay off in this game right here. You just feel the momentum. You feel their confidence level rising. This will be a tough out, this team.
A sleeper team in the tournament.
Last year, after beating North Carolina, Florida State went up there. They lost by 28 points to North Carolina, and Chapel Hill is the second biggest ACC loss in the school's history.
They've got some week. They're playing #1 North Carolina today.
Arizona,
defending champion Arizona later this week. They're 8-1. I say if they beat Carolina, Arizona, they'll be 10-1. They ought to get a bid to the Orange Bowl.
Around here, that doesn't work too well, Jim.
Bobby Bowden's got him going to the sugar. There's Jackson. Follows it up. Oh, missed trip for the Seminoles that time.
Oz down inside with Jamison.
Jamison. He ripped that rebound right over the top and away from Jackson. And a foul on Shabazz, his first. So Shabazz averages a block shot every 7 minutes so far through 9 games.
Here he is trying to fight for position. The experienced player holding his pants, pulling his pants down. Shabazz saying, how come no foul here? Just a little difference between a guy that's been in the league for a while and the guy that's just learning his stripes.
He'll come out. The all-time shot blocker in this young man will be a great shot blocker. He's already shown that in the first 9 games, but the all-time shot blocker is Tim Duncan. A block every 9.5 minutes. Meanwhile, the best shot blocker this season in college basketball plays on this floor. Jerome James from Florida A&M leads the country. Carolina with a 6-point lead.
Off some solid screens. Now watch how he comes off, squares up, gets the pass for the score. Hayward should be out there stepping on him. He comes off tough, right up for the jump shot. Great movement without the ball. A veteran player getting an easy shot.
Jim Nance, Billy Packer from the Leon County Civic Center, Tallahassee, Florida. #1 leading #17 by 6 with 11:30 remaining.
Big team on the floor now for North Carolina with Carter out there playing at a guard spot. So this makes this zone pretty tough to shoot over.
Rear open though, and had a good look at it.
Nice block out by Jamison.
Dribbled and able to shake off Baker.
How about Baker going after him out there to try to block out the shooter? Carter still had excellent concentration.
Jackson off balance, ball tipped out and saved by Baker.
Great job by Lewis. Strong hands in there.
There's Lewis. It was a wild one. Jive with a left hook. Oh, the ball was stuck for a moment. We'll have a tie-up situation. Carolina will get to start over again. I don't know. It's hard to imagine there's a better player in college basketball than Antoine Jamison.
I would have to agree with you, Jim. Rafe LaFrance playing really well. Pierce playing well.
Jamison to Carter.
Oh, how about that?
And he'll go to the line. Vince Carter. Jim, 8 of 8 from the line today.
You haven't seen him, to my knowledge anyway, lately. But there's a guy in the Atlantic Coast Conference that's leading the league in scoring and rebounding by the name of Matt Harpering from Georgia Tech. They haven't been in the NCAA tournament of late and had a poor year last year, but Harpering is a guy that's putting up some big numbers and is fun to watch.
Let me say that was 8 of 8 from the field is Vince Carter today. He has 18 points. Harpering helping Georgia Tech to a win over Louisville today for the second time this season.
Glover having another big game. Freshman, outstanding freshman.
Well, welcome home to America's Night of Television on CBS. Tonight, you don't want to miss Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, early edition Walker, Texas Ranger. North Carolina on a 9-0 run, Billy, and it's back up to an 11-point bulge, matching the largest lead of the game. But Baker gets the line for Florida State for 2.
Time for a number of more runs against North Carolina, but I'll have to give North Carolina a lot of credit here, Jim. You had the feeling that the momentum was going Florida State's way. They looked like they were gaining a lot of confidence, but this experienced North Carolina team able to set them back. Baker, a young man, leading scorer in the team right now. He was taught by Greer's mom in elementary school, so they've been friends for a long time.
It's over in the New Jersey area, southern Jersey Shore area. Leading scorer, though, held to 7 today.
Really hadn't had many good shot opportunities.
Williams. Jamison came flying in, knocked it out of bounds. Ed Cota will return.
See, Bill Guthrie's figuring without having his D team, he wants to give Jamison a rest, make sure he's got in really strong the last 7 minutes of this basketball game. Now that he's got a nice working margin. He didn't sit on that bench for 30 years, not picking up some excellent strategy move, how to orchestrate a game. Kind of interesting down the other end of the court, too, as well. Steve Robinson's got 2 assistant coaches, both of which were head coaches. I don't know if there's many staffs in the country that have got 3 guys all with head coaching experience.
What I was impressed by yesterday was Steve Robinson's respect for history in the ACC. He grew up in Virginia, didn't play in the ACC, but even said, hey, I grew up listening to Thacker and Packer in the old days.
He brought back a lot of memories there of all the great players that he had an opportunity to watch. He can name them.
He can give you the whole roster, the starters, everyone. His 3rd year as a head coach after 2 years at Tulsa. Carolina has eclipsed the 60-point mark, which Florida State's now only allowed 4 times now with this one today in 10 games.
Full court pressure now without Cota in the game. North Carolina. Cota is in the game, but without the ball, North Carolina nowhere near as good against that trap.
That's that defense that's been putting the clamps on the opponent this season. And here comes another little flurry here for Florida State. That's the 4th foul on Carter.
Now, Jim, if you were North Carolina against that trap, you've got to have Ed Cota come back to the ball. He was caught out about half court. That's not where they need him.
Not only was Terrell Baker taught in elementary school by Lamar Greer's mother, but his middle school basketball coach was Mr. Greer. So quite a connection. Those 2 now starters for Florida State. And at 13.3, he leads a very balanced attack in scoring for the Seminoles. 1 more here to trim it to 5.
Over the back. Is that Lewis? Tough foul.
Corey Lewis, the senior at 20 years old. He's a senior. Compare it. He's playing against Jai right now, who is also a senior and age 24.
Ed Cota was a 20-year-old freshman last year.
Got a shoulder pad and kind of device there on his right shoulder. Long tip to Hale. So they missed the front end of the 1-on-1.
Thompson. Nice job by Thompson. Wanting that ball. Over to Hale for the lob. They're within 4. Boy, you like that kind of leadership. Thompson wanted that ball. He wanted to direct this team. Crowds into it.
7-point run by the Seminoles.
Here's where a team finds out, Jim, do they belong in the upper echelon?
Great look, Williams.
Bad play by Baker. He lost the one guy on this ball club you don't want to lose sight of.
Three-pointer.
Williams was just hanging around over the sidelines. Good block.
Okalaja threw that out of bounds, and the official, I believe, was mistaken. He signaled first the Tar Heels.
Terrific pass by Thompson. We've seen Cota do this today. Good delivery. Hale just too big for Williams.
Rear in for Baker.
You can see this is a pretty productive team. It goes about 9 deep.
It's twice, though, in this half that the crowd got on its feet and was really starting to rock, and Shammond Williams quieted him both times.
Well, that was Baker, who just fell asleep defensively. Allowed Williams to have the wide open look.
8 on the shot clock.
How about a dribble penetration here?
Lewis sets the pick. They've got Greer on the wing for a 3. And a new possession. 35-second possession clock as Hale retrieves the long rebound.
Hale's 6'6", 6'7", good leaper. Here he is again.
He was calling for it. And he draws the foul on Jamison. His first.
Here they talk often about comebacks involving the University of North Carolina. They have whole pages in their brochure about it. One of the all-time ones was in '95 in North Carolina and Florida State. Florida State was up, excuse me, in '93. Florida State was up by 19 points and lost the ball game 82-77.
Sounds almost like the situation we were exposed to last week in Ann Arbor.
Duke loaded 7. They were up 17.
Yep, Michigan came back from 17 down second half.
Well, I guess the biggest comeback of the week in regard to turnaround was University of Tennessee women but to Illinois down 22 and they won by 10. That's a 32-point turnaround.
The under 8 timeout, a 9-3 run. Florida State's only down 5. 66-61, the Tar Heel field goal percentages, you don't lose very often shooting 60%.
No, Jim, but I'll tell you, when you're only up 5 and you're shooting 60%, it's a little cause to think a little bit. There's a man, 31 years at this school, University of North Carolina.
He was an assistant before he was an assistant to Dean Smith. He was at Kansas State. Played at Kansas State, 3-year letterman. Actually played on the team that went to the Final Four in 1958. Lost to Elton Baylor in the semifinals and Seattle. He was a teammate of Bob Boozer, who had a good career in the NBA.
Elgin's club then losing to University of Kentucky in the final. And there's the zone. 1-3-1 now with Jackson running the baseline.
Thompson takes the middle and darts back out.
Smart play. Pulled it back out. No numbers.
Here's a wide open Hale with the 3. Knew it was short, followed it. Oh! That's great anticipation. Way to follow your shot.
That's also good coaching because you've got guys coming off the bench that you've instilled confidence in.
Twice they battled back from 11 down to get within range. They're 3 behind now. Tar Heels, number 1 in the country.
Okalaja doesn't seem to have confidence looking for the shot.
Jamison overshot it. Lewis, a 3 to tie. Thompson brings them within 1.
And they stay in the zone. This zone is tough because Jackson is running the baseline. He's got enough size to go from sideline to sideline. A lot of times teams will install a small man there. Jackson should have stayed in. I can't believe it.
Carter set it up behind the back.
Jim, what was Jackson thinking about? His job was to be right under the basket. That should almost been a lob to him. Got out of position. Thompson, no, not there.
That would have tied it. But Carolina now beats him at the other end. Carter, that's his first missed field goal after 9 for 9.
Carter would have been smart to bring that ball back out. Nobody there to rebound the miss.
Tried to force it and stolen away. Cota has Williams ahead. Dipsy-do for 2.
Oh, the second time today we've seen North Carolina institute the bounce pass on the break perfectly. Every time Florida State gets right where they think they can take over the game, North Carolina comes back with solid play.
5 minutes to go, 5-point lead. It was 1.
You can see why the ACC is 61-15 against outside opponents this year. Quality teams here.
Jackson and Williams whistled for that one.
See, the solid screen was made so that Lewis couldn't do anything. And you say, well, where is the man on the zone that should be underneath there in the 1-3-1? That's Jackson, who was all the way out on the side.
You almost get the feeling Carter has already kind of rehearsed in his mind what the reaction shot's going to be after he dunks it home, because he has more of the reaction shots and cutaways than anybody in college hoops.
Since Chris Webber, maybe?
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
Good candidate. All cutaway team of the 90s.
Hey, can I editorialize a second? Nobody has been more out of line with a comment lately than Chris Webber when he made the comment about boycotting the World Championships by the NBA players. I wanted to inform Chris that the NBA players, that's the national team of the United States. It shouldn't involve in any way, shape, or form the NBA players think that they own the national team. If he doesn't want to play, I'm sure there's somebody in the United States that would like to represent our country in the World Championships.
Few on this floor right now.
Absolutely.
Take that opportunity.
Absolutely. Don't care what they do in their All-Star game, but don't fool with the national team.
4.5 to go. 70-65 Tar Heels.
Both teams employing a lot of zone down the stretch.
High up and Seminole ball.
Nice job by Jamison. Instead of trying to come down powerfully, he just stayed right up with the ball. This is a good, smart play. Jamison refining his game.
Well, that's a 5 count.
Big turnover.
They turned it over twice in the last minute. Only 4 turnovers in the second half. Now 70-65 in Florida State.
And they go back to man-to-man, Jim.
Williams. Simmons with the rebound.
Simmons and Baker did a pretty good job jumping out on Williams. It's not an easy shot. Lewis and Jamison battling for position inside.
Good pass. And Jai hacks him as Lewis went up for the jam. Now let's check out the CBS Sports Line stat of the game. Points off turnover. Big edge for the Heels today. Find out more about team and player stats for every Division I team. Get the latest scores, breaking news. CBS.sportsline.com. So Corey Lewis to the line for 2. Again, graduated from high school at the age of 16, only a 20-year-old senior. One of 25 players nominated for the Wooden Award. That's a surprise, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it really is. Probably coming off his promise as opposed to his performance. Unfortunately, he was out 7 games with injuries. Had a knee injury and then had a right foot injury that cost him to miss 3 games. Really set him back.
As a freshman, he was on the All-ACC freshman team with the likes of Harpring and Curtis Staples. Butler from Clemson. And we have the under 4 timeout. So Lewis with a couple of big free throws, and it's a 3-point Carolina lead.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Pert Plus, the shampoo that conditions too, for simply great hair, simply. And by Tagamet HB 200. Don't lose sleep over heartburn. Take Tagamet.
Saturday, January 3rd, the legend rides again. The Magnificent Seven, the greatest Western of all time, is now a series. Don't miss the exciting 2-hour premiere right here on CBS, Saturday, January 3rd. Jim Nance, Billy Packer from Tallahassee, Florida, with 3:48 remaining.
Let's see the defense here, Jim. Are they going to stick back with that zone? Yeah, they do. They stay in the zone. Williams salivates, looking for a spot where he can get off the shot. Over here with Greer right now.
Jamison turnaround.
There's a patented shot on the way up. Perfect release. Found an opening in the zone. I think they were so aware of what was going on the perimeter, didn't realize what was coming behind them. Both teams going zone.
Reach in, Okalaja.
Trying to set a little triangle down inside, Jim, getting the ball on the wing and then down to Jackson. He was fortunate there that the foul was committed because he really hadn't held his position very well.
Okalaja, Carter, and Jai all with 4 fouls, and Jackson will shoot 2.
And here's if there is a weakness in this #1 team, is that all of their reserve strength are guys with inexperience. And that's the one thing that I think if you're going to look at Bill Guthridge in the next couple of weeks, he has got to figure out where he can get on that bench 2 or 3 players that can come in and give him valuable minutes. Not necessarily down the stretch either. They're going to have to be in that first half.
1 of 2 makes it a 4-point game.
Look at the difference against the press.
Steal by Hale. Thompson wants to challenge. He lost control of it, and Okalaja clears it for Carolina. No look pass to Carter for the lay-in. What an assist by Cota.
Boy, you just feel comfortable when Cota has the ball in his hands against the press. Anybody else, kind of a disaster.
Greer with a 3, and it's a big one. Slices the lead in half. 74-71 Tar Heels.
Greer almost had a triple-double against Florida with 10 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. He's coming right back with another solid game.
22nd timeout called by North Carolina. We talk a little tournament heritage and the '82 national championship. Freshman Michael Jordan nails the jump shot versus Georgetown and Patrick Ewing, and the Tar Heels went on to capture the national championship 63-62 over the Hoyas.
There was Freddie Brown remembering who was supposed to be out on the wing and probably having that flashback as James Worthy, out of position, makes the catch.
The other 2 teams at that Final Four,
Houston, Louisville.
Houston and Louisville. Steve Robinson finding the pull. The upset today of the #1 team. We saw it happen last week on CBS. Michigan defeating Duke.
Florida State changes their defense to man-to-man. Steve Robinson wants them not to become too comfortable with their offensive set.
Cota driving, fouled by Thompson.
Cota lucky there because he got up in the air and didn't have a passing lane.
Cota has struggled at the line today, but he'll shoot 2. It's the 3rd on Kerry Thompson. He's gone a long time before he got whistled for his 3rd.
Well, he picked up 2, Jim, in the first 3 minutes of the ball game.
Cota can tie his career high in points if he makes both. Career high was in the tournament last year where Dean tied the rough record in the win against Colorado.
But 16 points against Colorado, yeah.
Cota misses again.
He can't believe it. As I said, came into this game 22 for 25 from the line. Has missed, what, 5 today?
Well, he makes the second. And Cota, with 5 misses today at the line, still salvages the second to make it a 4-point game. 1:40 remaining. Lob. Jackson was wide open.
Jimmy, he brought the ball down. If he could have stayed right up there with it and put it away, he had an easy 2. You see him right here. He goes up, he's got to finish, and he just doesn't catch the ball.
He's got it again inside, lays it in. We got a 2-point game.
He caught that one.
75-73 Tar Heels.
Good hard-nosed man-to-man. Cota wanting to get Carter something here. Cota wanting to get Carter something.
Carter fade away. Rebound chased down by Elijah. Carter's pass tipped, but Williams saves it. Baker bumps into him. That'll send Shammond Williams to the line for 2 during the double bonus.
Elijah just wanted it more than anybody on the floor, Jim, going for that loose ball. He might not have confidence in his offense, but give him a lot of credit for hustle. He just beat everybody to the ball and didn't have the best shot at it to start off with.
Shammond Williams, his first 2 attempts at the line today. For Williams. He's hit some big shots when the crowd's really gotten into it.
He really has. He's the number 2 free throw shooter in the ACC last year at 81.5. Good man to have on that line.
53 seconds. 77-73 Tar Heels. Timeout Florida State.
Timeout Florida State.
Full timeout. North Carolina, got Steve Robinson in his first year at Florida State.
But not his first year as a head coach.
Right.
He's been in this situation before in the WAC last year. He knows how to play under pressure. And of course, Bill Guthridge, as we mentioned, Jim, you don't sit beside Dean Smith for 30 years and not know what to do when it comes down to crunch time.
But really, Carolina's only been in one tight game at the end. That was a 4-point win against Purdue.
And how about a salute to Dean Smith, named Sportsman of the Year by Sports Illustrated. Great honor.
Wonderful choice.
Here we are in that zone.
38 seconds.
Wow.
Baker.
Wow. You got to question that shot.
All Carolina there for the rebound.
Not a good shot. And then not a good foul against the best free throw shooter for Carolina. And there's, again, the experience, not of the coach, but of a player coming from the JC ranks that's got to understand, get the ball in Thompson's hands and let him make the distribution for the shot. That ball was what, Jim? Would you say 4 or 5 feet beyond the three-point line? Had to really struggle to get it up.
For Williams.
Looks like he just rolled him out of bed, doesn't it? No sweat on that release at all. And in this league, with so many top teams winning on the road, particularly early on, very important.
3, Baker comes back, dips down and out. And out of the timeout, they end up getting 2 3-point tries by Baker on their 2 possessions.
Well, they are down 6 now. They were only down 4. You know, so you don't really need the 3. I think that penetration by Thompson, get the 2. They had plenty of time.
Elijah at the line for 2. Chevrolet MVPs of the game. Vince Carter of North Carolina. What a game he had from the field. Lamar Greer, Florida State. Chevrolet donates $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund. Carter 10 of 12 in the game.
Well, Elijah, no follow-through at all on the foul shot. He's going to have to work on his game offensively.
Still in it, 2-possession game. They can hit a quick 3. Baker has a strip, though. It's Shammond Williams.
There's Cota thinking all the time. He doesn't need any more points. He needs to occupy time. Smart play.
Also number 20 on the line, Baker, his third.
Jim, it's interesting how the game becomes simple arithmetic when people have to understand. The players, the coaches do understand, but the players sometimes lose sight of the fact that, you know, you're down 4. You don't need a 3. You need 2 possessions anyway. Take the good 2 instead of the bad 3.
There were 38 seconds to go when they broke the huddle.
20-second timeout.
20-second timeout called by the Seminoles, but let's remind you that Texas and Illinois are coming up next. Billy, we'll see Texas in a few weeks down at Austin.
Interesting in this game, 2 guys that coach different tempos, Illinois and Texas. So let's see which guy gets the advantage. Lon Kruger likes to keep it slow. Tommy Fenders like to move it quick. Let's see if Ed Cota gets back on track with his free throw shooting, Jim.
2 attempts.
First look at the #1 team in person this year for me, and one of the things I think, in order to stay #1 for long, they're going to have to develop a bench. Just the opposite of Duke. It's going to have to figure out who to play in that top 8.
They must stay healthy. Well, Carolina pulled away at the end, and hats off to this man, Billy Guthridge. Now 12-0 for Steve Robinson. Billy, I said it yesterday, that could be a sleeper Final Four team. Who knows? They get it going in March. Look out for the Seminoles. North Carolina stays undefeated. 12-0, while Florida State's now 8-2. For Billy Packer, this is Jim Nance saying so long from the Leon County Civic Center, where North Carolina has beaten Florida State 81-73. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home of the NCAA Basketball Championship.